Libra, it is April 2020. We're doing a mid-month reading. Been shuffling the cards off camera. You're seeing me shuffle them now. And this happened with another, it wasn't the Chariot, but it was the Eight of Cups. Happened in another reading where when I was shuffling off camera, the Chariot was one of the cards that kept coming up at the bottom of the deck, or was there when I split it at one point. And then it's the first card out in your reading. And we've also seen a lot of major arcana and more major arcana here. All major arcana and with the Ten of Swords here at the bottom of the deck. All major arcana for the first three cards out for you. And I've seen a lot of major arcana in the reading this month. And you've got the Chariot, the Hermit, and the Lovers, which is pretty cool. None of those are bad cards to see. And with major arcana, all these major arcana, I feel like you're going through a transformative period. I feel like you're coming out of this kind of period, right? Because the 10 is, of course, about ending in the series of numerical swords. And definitely that's an ending portrayed on the card, because that motherfucker is dead. And so I feel like the death of whatever situation that was, and that pain and disappointment was, is going to give way to these cards, which is a period. I feel like there's a period of searching and growth, or at least reflection, if not searching, just like inwardly reflecting on your power. And it's a meditation on how to embody that more and more in your life. That you don't want to feel victimized anymore. Again, Ten of Swords here. You don't want to feel victimized anymore. You want to feel empowered. And not many cards in the deck represent that better than the Chariot. The Chariot is all about your will, your ability to make decisions and choices to guide your life. And the Hermit is trying to shine a light on that right now. The Hermit is saying, this is what I want to nurture. And like I said, this is a meditation on that kind of power and influence in your life. And how can I grow this? How can I embody this more? How can I raise my authenticity to the surface and embody that more and more in my life, where it just becomes an ever-increasing levels of who I really am. And that brings us to the Lovers, which could speak of connections that come your way as a result of that. It also, to me, represents a balancing of energies within yourself. That raising up this Chariot energy within you brings a greater sense of balance within. There's a lot less turmoil, a lot more clarity, but there is also that element of raising that energy within you and becoming more authentically you and becoming more empowered. That is very attractive to other people. And it could be a lover, it could be a new social circle, could be a new friend, just a friend. And then we've got, it's funny because these two cards, it's also funny because all of the cards that have any kind of negative connotation to me that are out now are swords. They're all minor arcana. And these two that came out, the 8 and the 2, one of the things I think of what they have in common to me, aside from just being swords, is, to me, one of the things they represent is being blocked by your own thoughts and your own mental activity into not being able to see situations clearly. Because they're both blindfolded. They're both part of the sword suit, which is your intellect, your thinking. It is just mental activity, right? And they're both blindfolded. So it's like, this is getting in your way. You get 2 in your head, you start thinking. That's something about the charioteer in the Chariot too, is he does not overthink what he's doing. Because he trusts himself. He's got that yellow solar plexus chakra energy around him, right? And that's also the light that the Hermit is shining, is also that yellow energy. And when I think of that, that's all about your gut. I mean, just solar plexus chakra is your gut, right? And you trust yourself. Like people always say, trust your gut. He does not second guess. He does not sit and get caught up in his thoughts about what he's going to do and what he's going to say. He trusts that within himself, he knows what needs to be done, that he knows what needs to be said. He doesn't get blinded by his own doubt and inner insecurities. Again, all of the swords that I see, which I feel like the swords to me had the most negative, like in my mind, there are more negative cards in that suit. Maybe that's not accurate. But then we also follow it up where I feel like you're getting over this stuff and you're not giving away a lot of energy to negative mental activity, to just like distraction and self-talk about disappointment and how bad and unfair things are. I feel like that is clearing away. You're going to get into a mental space where you rise above that and you see things a lot more clearly. And all of the doubt that we're seeing here in these 4 cards is none of that is present here at this point. So you finally get a card that represents your mind and your thinking, where it's unclouded, and like you see all the clouds here, right? You see all the clouds in the Queen of Swords. But if you notice that her head and her sword are above them, they're in clear sky at this point. And so her mind is unclouded. It's very much a card that makes me think of meditation, of a meditative practice where you sit for a little bit and maybe you don't even do anything but relax when you realize that your mind is thinking. And then after you sit for a little while, things start to settle. Then your mind slowly becomes quiet. If you don't strive for it, if you can just let things be as they are and give it time, things settle. And that to me is what the Queen of Swords, I feel like, is telling you to do, is to get that kind of clarity, to reflect like the Hermit, and to meditate on how to bring up more of the Chariot energy in your life, because that's the thing that's going to shift gears on this kind of lower vibration energy that I'm picking up from these 4 cards and from the 10 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And on that note, Libra, go wrap it up. Take care.